Hey everyone, I'm Sam Weiser, SRT's Education Coordinator, and I'd like to invite you to another edition of SRT Field Notes from Sequoia Riverlands Trust. Today we're here at SRT's Kaweah Oaks Preserve to look at some plants that can act as signs of summer. These plants only grow once it gets hot and dry, and so they're a great example of something that can show you that summer has started here at our preserve. So our first example of a sign of summer can be seen growing right here over my shoulder, and that is the buffalo gourd, which is also known as the fetid gourd and has the scientific name Cucurbita foetidissima. So as its name would suggest, it is a plant that grows squash. So it grows these small, round, yellow fruit that look similar to summer squash, except that they're very round. And those provide an important food source for a variety of animals out here. You can also see it grows similar to other squash plants in a mat spreading across the ground, providing a nice green oasis of vegetation amongst the dead annual grasses we see in the background. So a great place to provide shade and forage and habitat. They also have some beautiful yellow flowers that are really important for pollinators like bees and beetles. And so this plant in general just really provides a whole bunch of different resources for a variety of animals that are trying to call this place home during the extreme conditions we have here in the summer. So one of the most beautiful signs of summer, and one of my favorites, is this plant growing here right over my shoulder called sacred Datura, or Datura riddi. Now you may recognize it because it's quite a resilient and hardy plant, and it actually grows all over the place, on the sides of highways and abandoned fields. It really doesn't seem to mind those disturbed soils where people have plowed recently or have done construction or are constantly walking. So it's one of these plants you may recognize from your backyard or nearby your house. It's got these beautiful white flowers, one of my favorite flowers you can find out here at our preserves, and those are an invitation to a variety of insects, moths, butterflies, all sorts of things that'll come in there and enjoy the nectar, and in return move that pollen for these plants. They also produce some spiky seed balls, and those seeds were actually used by Native Americans for their hallucinogenic properties. So it was a really important plant for the Native Americans here as well. So just a beautiful plant and a great example of a species that can grow in the dead heat of summer. So here we have another great example of a sign of summer, and that is the narrowleaf milkweed, or the Asclepias fascicularis. And this is another plant that only seems to come up and sprout once things have gotten hot and dry, and then it flowers during the summer when everything around it seems to be dead and drying up. And so it's an amazing plant. You may recognize the name milkweed as being super important to the monarch butterfly species, but these milkweeds here are native to this area, and therefore they are important to a variety of native insects and other animals that we have here in this area, including something called the large milkweed bug, which uses this as a habitat. And so this is an extremely important plant. It also has beautiful flowers that are really important for pollinators, and it happens to do all that in the middle of summer when not much else is going on. So just an amazing sight to see, and something you can also grow very easily at home to support pollinators and create more habitat in your backyard. So now you know 3 of the signs of summer to look for at our preserves and in your own backyard. From SRT's Kaweah Oaks Preserve, I'm Sam Weiser. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon for another edition of SRT Field Notes from Sequoia Riverlands Trust.